Hi guys, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your reading. Sit back, relax and enjoy. Hi guys, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your week ahead reading. We are doing this week the 27th, I believe, the 27th of July through to the 2nd of August. Yeah, so the 27th of July, that's a Monday, through to Sunday the 2nd of August. Okay, so what we're doing for the reading, what we're using this week for the reading, and you know guys that if you've been watching this channel for a while, we do we look at your general, we look at a general message from the universe, we look at we then look at your career for the week, and we look at your love for the week, and we also get spiritual guidance. So for the general reading this week, guys, we're going to use the This Might Hurt tarot deck. For your work reading this week, guys, we're going to use my favourite deck of all my decks, the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. This one I cut and trimmed. I've got about two other backup decks, but this one was meant to be a client deck, but I cut and trim it, and I use it for YouTube videos and to take the thumbnails as well for the week. Brilliant deck. And finally for love, we use the Dark Mansion Tarot, another one of my favourite decks as well. Fantastic. Spiritual guidance this week, guys, comes from the Chinese Fortune reading cards by Sharina Starr. Really accurate. These are amazing. We're also going to get spiritual guidance from Angel Answers card, the Oracle card by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. And finally, we look at getting spiritual guidance as well from the Law of Attraction card. So we're just looking at what you should be focusing on attracting in this week. And that's by, if I can read the names, Amy Zerner and Monte Faber. Okay guys, sit back, relax and please enjoy your video. Hi Sagittarius, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. So we are going to do your week ahead reading. It's the 27th of July through to the 2nd of August. Okay, Sagittarius, this is your reading. So, the 27th of July through to the 2nd of August. We're going to have a look at what the general message is for you. Let's have a look. The first card is the Queen of Swords. For me, the Queen of Swords is about asking. It's if you look at her hand, she's you know, there's a demand being made here. Often when you get the Queen of Swords, you know, she's demanding, and that sword is the truth. So there's a sense of demanding the truth. Sometimes she can represent those mixed messages. With one hand she asks, with the other she withdraws, you know, so she can be a mixed message card as well. But to be perfectly fair, she often for me represents kind of, you know, asking for the truth or being direct, speaking directly. So this card for me, the Queen of Swords, is all about speaking the truth and being direct. About the Nine of Swords energy. So the message this week is the Queen of Swords. I think that you need to be honest and you need to be direct, showing it. I mean, you could read that combination and say that this is somebody who's upset by somebody's criticism, because the Queen of Swords is a critical card as well. So when you get her as well, Sagittarius, it could be somebody who's quite critical and they may be upsetting someone. But I feel that you need to speak the truth. Some of you guys may have been feeling worried with this Nine of Swords energy, or you might have been feeling anxious with the Nine of Swords energy here. Now you see this tower, this is not good with this. I don't think this tower is, because nines mean that you're at a point of no return. That's what a number 9 is. A number 9 is where you're nearing a point of no return. It's nearing completing that cycle. So if you've got a tower next to it, this person's probably about to explode. Can you see? She's got all of these swords around her head. I love this deck so much. I think this is probably my favourite card in the This Might Hurt Tarot. It's just extraordinary the way that they've thought of this. It's just amazing. This is about nightmares. The Nine of Swords is nightmares, depression, anxiety. There's a lot of kind of worries going on in the person's head. Sometimes the worries are, you know, they're not necessary, because sometimes it's all in the head. But if you've got this tower where they're about to explode, they're nearing explosion, this person is actually getting to the point of a breakdown. So I actually thought that the message is speak, because the Queen of Swords speaks. She speaks. she can be a counsellor as well, this lady. So she's often somebody who would work, she works in nursing anyway. This is the type of woman that works with people who are really ill, or, you know, she works with patients that need some help. You know, she works in mental health, so she's a mental health nurse, that type of thing, is the Queen of Swords. But also, you know, this may be somebody that you want to talk to. Some of you guys, it looks like you're nearing a breakdown because you've got the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is already worrying. It's already feeling really anxious. And then it's about to explode with that Tower. So I think that if some of you guys are nearing a breakdown, like you're not coping very well with the situation, you're kind of at that point where you're like, oh my God, I'm about to explode. I'm about to just break down, because she's already worried with the Nine of Swords. We take her over to that Tower and it's just like complete breakdown. I think with the Queen of Swords energy, there is a need to talk to someone, or there is a need for you to get a lot off your chest. I think that you need to be open, be honest, because she's a direct communicator. Or if that's not you doing this, then there's a need for you to directly communicate with somebody who feels like this. Okay, so there is a need to communicate maybe with somebody who feels like this. If this is you, though, there is a need for you to openly communicate about what you're feeling. Okay, the Seven of Cups energy, it's almost like it's saying there's a lot of options around you with the Seven of Cups energy showing there. The Ten of Coins, support. The Ten of Coins, if you look at the Ten of Coins, it's family support, or it's just support. It's a supportive card. I think there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of options for support with that Ten of Coins available to you. So, yeah, I think that the message this week is if you are nearing a breakdown, if you're finding it really, really difficult to cope, Sagittarius, I feel that you need to speak your truth. You need to open up with the Queen of Swords, because there's lots of options around you to get some form of support, okay, with that Ten of Coins. Let's have a look at your career reading. What are we seeing here? The Knight of Coins, one of my favourite career cards, actually, this one is. Hard work is the Knight of Coins, somebody who's focused on building their career. This isn't somebody who's, you know, cutting corners or wanting to take the quicker way around to being successful. This is somebody who will work hard and they will follow the process. This is somebody who's very responsible, very detailed, and they are somebody who takes solid action. It's not quick action like a Knight of Swords energy, or fickle action like a Knight of Cups. This is somebody who takes solid action in the area of their dreams. Let's have a look at the next one. Okay, so I do feel the message for work is the Knight of Coins is, I mean, you do have an Eight of Swords here. So the Eight of Swords is whereby you might be feeling stifled concerning your work. You know, really, really tired. Really, really tired with that Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is where you feel trapped. You feel you're feeling stifled, you're feeling limited. Now, if you look on the Eight of Swords here, I always find this a very interesting I love this deck. It's really funny. I have some really beautiful decks, and for me with tarot, I've got to have decks that just speak plain English. Or, you know, I'm not into the squiggly decks with, you know, squiggly illustrations on them. That's not me. These decks that I use, like the This Might Hurt Tarot and the Everyday Enchantment Tarot, right up my street. I love, love, love the depiction of this Eight of Swords. And what really strikes me on this particular version of the Eight of Swords is the baby, and how it to me almost represents demands, because babies are demanding. They want their milk, they want to be cuddled, you know, they need their attention, obviously, because they're just little ones, they're just babies. But it's the word demanding. So it's almost like the baby and the dog that's howling for, you know, some form of attention from the owner. And you can see the owner is like, get me out, it's too much. You know, they're really kind of like having a bit of a meltdown there. So it feels to me, you've got this Knight of Coins energy showing here. And it feels to me, it may be that the message for work is that there's something that you've been working on with that Knight of Coins. Because the Knight of Coins in a work reading is somebody who works hard, and you can see that there is a lot of detail and a lot of attention that is being paid to, you know, a project that you're working on here. There's a lot of, you want to get things exactly right. And if you look at him, can you see how he's sitting and he's taking in every single detail of that car, everything. Can you see how focused he is? But it feels like with the Eight of Swords energy that some of you guys are a little bit trapped by the work that you do, because this is the work that you're doing, but it feels like you're trapped by it. But not just trapped, it feels like there's not enough kind of work-life balance, that type of thing, because the Eight of Swords means to be kind of wrapped up in, or it means to be in bondage or enslaved when you get the Eight of Swords energy. So some of you guys, but this card here, the work that you're doing is pretty much, it's kind of enslaving you. This Eight of Swords almost screams out to me that Sagittarius doesn't have enough free time for themselves. They're just completely caught up in the work that they do here. Six of Cups energy showing here. So some of you guys, it may be that, you know, it's an interesting thing because you've got the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups can often represent the past, you know, and when you get the Eight of Swords and the Six of Cups, somebody's tied up in the past, or they're thinking about the past quite a bit, or they are bound to the past. Let's have a look at what the next card is with the Six of Cups energy. Right, the Four of Cups energy. So there's a great deal of unhappiness here. Not great deal, but there is unhappiness with that Four of Cups. When you get the Four of Cups in a work reading, somebody's not happy with the role that they're in, or they're bored with it, or there's a sense of apathy and kind of like, I'm not happy with my role, I'm not happy with the money, I'm not happy with the colleagues. It's just a sense of being really unhappy when you get the Four of Cups energy. And it may be that the people who are close to you with that Six of Cups, because Six of Cups is not just about the past, it's also about having close relationships, people like family. Some of you guys might be getting really tired of the people around you here as well with the Six of Cups. It's almost like the close relationships, almost like you feel that you need some space. Because what I'm noticing is as well is that the Eight of Swords is a card about feeling stuck and feeling a sense of limitation when you get the Eight of Swords. And we can see that you guys, the message is you're working really hard. But it may also be with the Knight of Swords that you need to work through that Eight of Swords energy showing there. Maybe you need to work through it. Maybe it's not the work that you're doing. Maybe it's something that you're feeling already as well, Sagittarius. So it may be in work. There is a need to work through because he's really working hard here. So it may be there's a need for you guys to work through this energy here of the Eight of Swords energy. Some of you guys, Six of Cups by maybe engaging with close colleagues, for example, talking to close colleagues, or just doing something really playful with colleagues as well with the Six of Cups. There's an unhappiness card here with the Four of Cups energy showing here. I think it's saying if you're unhappy, then move. I think the Tower has been a bit cheeky actually. It's saying, look, if you're unhappy, then move. Because the Knight of Wands would be a card about moving. That's what the Knight of Wands does. And actually, Sagittarius, of course, the Knight of Wands is you. Sagittarius energy, it's you. And Sagittarians are the explorers of the zodiac. They like to move, they like to explore, they like to learn, they like to experience different things. They're about education and that type of thing, and just exploring different people, different cultures, different ways of doing things. So I feel that, and you know, because you're like this as well, Sagittarius, it would stand to reason that you may feel like this, especially if, you know, you're feeling a bit bored in the work that you do as well. The Knight of Coins also means to be bored. This is a card of boredom too. This card can actually mean that you feel stuck too. But reading it as a linear story, Sagittarius, what I would probably say is that there is a need, the message for work is there's a need to work through this energy, Eight of Swords. And I'm actually going to clarify and ask why Sagittarius would be feeling the Eight of Swords. Let's have a look in two cards. Why does Sagittarius feel the Eight of Swords? Why does Sagittarius feel the Eight of Swords? Because I don't actually feel that it's, I think it is work though, because there's a boredom aspect. I think there's a boredom with work. I think there's boredom here because you've got the Four of Cups. So I think there's a need to work through that by doing that. Six of Cups energy, you know, just spending time. And you can see on this scene here where everybody's sat together. It's a nice energy here. Maybe this is about family members. Maybe it's not necessarily work colleagues, that type of thing. But maybe by spending time with loved ones, that type of thing, there's a need to work through this energy by spending time with people that you love, that make you feel good, that type of thing. It's a lovely scene on that Six of Cups. Let's have a look at what you're frustrated by with the Eight of Swords. Why is Sagittarius feeling the Eight of Swords? Why is Sagittarius feeling, in two cards from the top of the deck, why they're feeling the Eight of Swords? Because the King of Wands, there's a person here, isn't there? I'm not going to read this as you. This could be a boss. Usually when you get the King of Wands, he's a boss. He's somebody who's in charge. The Seven of Coins showing here. I think this is somebody who's in charge of the job that you do. Okay, this is somebody who overlooks the work that you do. I think that with the Seven of Coins as well, it's a reviewing of the work as well. So this is somebody who's your boss, somebody who reviews your work. I actually feel that some of you guys need to work through this because I think that I get the impression that some of you guys may be dealing with a boss that's been overlooking the work, because the Seven of Coins is reviewing the work, and there's your boss of the King of Wands. King of Wands in a work reading will always be the boss. He's not as high as, say, a King of Coins, who's like the CEO, but he's certainly somebody who's just underneath that King of Coins. So he's going to be in top management anyway. He's going to be your, you know, your team leader or your team manager. He'll be, for example, showing there, or he might run the department or something like that. But this will be somebody who reviews your work closely. And I think that what the tarot is trying to say is that this isn't about the work here in this one card. This is about your unhappiness. But your unhappiness is to do with the person and not necessarily the work. So I think it's saying, kind of no pun intended with the Knight of Coins and this being a work reading, but there is a need to work through that Eight of Swords, i.e. there's a need to work through the frustration and the anger that you feel concerning this boss here looking over and reviewing your work. And you need to do that with the Six of Cups by just kind of spending time with the people that you love, the people that you care about, having laughs, having jokes, having a few drinks, not kind of, because you may be tapping into this energy here a little bit too much. And you know, it's a really interesting thing that happens when you work within a company or you work for other people, is that it's really interesting how people can really just piss us off. They can. People can really piss us off on a daily basis, you know. I remember when I used to work in offices back in the day, years ago, 5 years ago, I used to work in offices, and I used to have to deal with some really crazy people, man. Really, really crazy. And I remember when I used to have to deal with, you know, people who would torture me, people who would be unkind, people who would be picky, people who would be critical. I'm surprised it didn't come out as a King of Swords, to be totally honest with you. But I think that, you know, when I used to have to deal with that with bosses that I didn't like, or people who were critical or always overlooking or watching what I was doing, blah, 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 I often felt I would often leave work and take work home with me. So I would take the feeling of the day that I had just had with me, and if it had been a very negative day, I would take those negative feelings home with me. And I think that that's what some of you Sagittarians are doing. You may be taking the negative experiences of a working environment, of somebody that you're working with, a boss who's consistently looking over your work here. I'm just going to ask what this person is saying about your work. What is this person saying about Sagittarius work? What's this person saying about Sagittarian's work, please, in 2 cards? What's he saying? He or she saying? Well, he's saying it's got to change, the Death card. He's saying it's got to change. Oh, how many times am I seeing this Death and Ten of Swords together? This person is saying the Death and the Ten of Swords. They're saying it's got to change, with the Death card showing there. It's almost like they're saying with the Ten of Swords energy that you are... I don't think that there's, I mean, we're asking what they're saying about the work. So if you're saying to somebody the Death card to your work, they're saying something's got to stop. So this person's saying that something's got to stop here with the Death card. The Ten of Swords is painful ending. 2 cards representing death, painful endings. Something's got to stop. Something that you're doing has got to stop. That's what they're saying here. And I think it's frustrated you. I think it's really frustrated you, Sagittarius. This person is saying Death and the Ten of Swords. They're saying something is definitely, it's just got to stop. It's got to stop. Okay? It's just got to stop. They're saying something's got to stop, and it's got to stop for good. It's got to end. It's got to be finale. What is it that Sagittarius is doing that has to stop? What is it that Sagittarius has got to do, has to do? What is it that Sagittarius is doing that has to stop for good in 2 cards? What is it you're doing? You're doing the 2 of Coins. So I don't know whether you're kind of not finishing projects, or you're not kind of, the 9 of Wands energy showing there. So the 9 of Wands energy. So the 9 of Wands in a work reading. Usually this is somebody who's quite guarded as well with the 9 of Coins. It's almost like you're covering things up. It's almost like you're covering, because the 9 of Wands is guarding something. Often you can see that card as a secretive card. Somebody who's guarding something there. The band-aid on the head almost suggests that you're making mistakes. And with the 2 of Coins energy, it feels like you're flip-flopping and you're covering things up. Like with the 2 of Coins, it's almost like it feels like what you're doing in work is that you're being inconsistent with certain things. It's about you managing projects as well. 2 of Coins is trying to manage things. Trying to get balance. But with the 9 of Wands energy, it may be that you're finding it a bit difficult to cope perhaps with these projects. Perhaps some of you guys have got different projects on the go, and with the 9 of Wands energy, you're finding it really difficult to kind of cope. Even though the 9 of Wands is kind of persevering, there may be an element of finding it difficult to cope with that, for example. or it may be that you seem to be flip-flopping with the Two of Coins from one thing to the other and covering these things up with the Nine of Wands. It's almost like there's no consistency, or you're not finishing certain things and then you're going on to other things, and then you may be leaving bits and bobs undone, like leaving bits of projects or whatever unfinished and then going on to something else. And the Two of Coins can kind of be flip-flopping. So it feels like there's somebody around you who's it feels like I don't know whether they're doing it with malice though, because it doesn't feel like it's a malicious thing that this person is doing. The messages you need to work through this Eight of Swords. Now the Eight of Swords talks about anger and frustration and overthinking and feeling trapped and annoyed. But when I clarified it, remember, what we came up with is that what you were feeling the Eight of Swords about, angsty about, was this King of Wands, this man, this woman, this person in charge in a position of power that's reviewing your work. They're looking over your work and what you've been doing. Okay, and what we're finding is that what they've said to you is that, you've got to stop, and it's got to stop for good, this kind of toing and froing with the Two of Coins energy and covering things up maybe with the Nine of Wands. So toing and froing, covering things up, not saying that you haven't finished stuff, starting on other stuff, not finishing and tying up things that have already been done. So it just feels like this person isn't criticizing you, Sagittarius, but they want you to finish things. They want you, when you start something, they want you to finish it rather than leaving. Because I just get the impression that you may leave. I'm not criticizing you, but it feels like that you may leave a lot of loose ends in certain things in your work. And I think that the universe is saying to you with this Knight of Coins that you've got to work through that. And you've got to, you do it by doing the Six of Cups energy, just by kind of focusing on good things. I'm surprised it didn't say that you work. But I guess working through it is by kind of spending time with friends and family and not being too angry about this. Because this person that's telling you this, if this resonates with you, Sagittarius, is probably in the right. They're probably in the right, that you are flip-flopping, that you're not, finishing things off before you start other things, and you're leaving a lot of loose ends undone, you're leaving a lot of ends undone. You're not tying things up in a good way, in a proper way. And I feel that it's saying that, well, Sagittarius, if you're not happy with this Four of Cups energy where you are, then it's best to leave with the Knight of Wands. It's best that you go off and leave, because it may be what you're doing here just isn't the right thing for you. I'm not criticizing you, Sagittarius. It's just how the reading feels to me. Finally, for love, what's the message? Well, we've got an Empress here, which for me is about love and attraction, and it's about creating something new. Let's have a look. So the Fool, I think this is really nice energy showing here. Okay, I mean, for some of you guys, it could be pregnancy as well that's actually showing up for some of you guys in a relationship. The Empress is ready to give birth, and the Fool is something new. So I think that you're giving birth to something new in a relationship is something, if this is pregnancy, Fools are children, they're babies as well, babies upwards. And this is pregnancy. There could be something to do with pregnancy, maybe between you and the partner, but of course between you and the partner. But this is creating something new in a relationship. So I see you guys creating something new. And whenever you see the Empress and she's sitting next to a card, she's creating sometimes what is behind her. So I see you guys creating something new showing here, okay? Wow, I think you see you creating a new friendship with somebody here, because this is friendship, this is creating, and this is new. So I see some of you Sagittarians creating a new friendship with an individual showing here, okay? But there may be some jealousy here I get with the Five of Swords. Now, usually when I get swords and they're pointing into cards like Two of Cups or the Two of Cups or the Three of Cups, I'm seeing somebody wants to interfere with something, So I just get the impression that with the Empress and the Fool energy showing here, some of you guys are creating something new, creating a new friendship, but I get the impression somebody may be quite jealous. It may be an ex, for example. Let's have a look. The Two of Coins energy. I'm getting jealousy with the Five of Swords energy showing here. There may be jealousy here, but there may also be doubts that you can maintain this, because the Two of Coins is about trying to maintain something, okay? And I just get the impression that there's either you guys are creating, definitely I feel that the three cards stand, that I'm seeing in love that Sagittarius is creating a new friendship with somebody here, and there may be jealousy showing here as well. Okay, and it may be that somewhere along the lines, it's really interesting. I've never read the Two of Pentacles as being sabotage. Okay, but it may be that with the Two of Coins being a card about trying to, you know, trying to manipulate something here. So you're trying to manipulate because you're trying to get that balance going. There may be somebody here who's who's jealous and wants to manipulate the situation, perhaps. Alternatively, it could be definitely stand that you're creating a new friendship with someone, but there may be dates to whether you can manage this, especially if you're really busy on work and that type of thing as well. Okay, so we've done the reading, guys. Let's recap one more time on the reading before we do the spiritual reading for you, okay? So, Queen of Swords, the general reading is a Queen of Swords, Nine of Swords in the Tower. Some of you guys are close to a breakdown here. You need to talk to someone with that Queen of Swords, okay? You need to get it off your chest and speak to a professional here. There are lots of options for support out there, okay? So make sure you're checking in on that. The other thing is for work. Message for work, you need to work through some anger or frustration that you're feeling here, Sagittarius. I think a boss who's looking over your work has said to you that something has to stop, and it's got to stop for good. With that Ten of Swords and the Death energy here, some of you guys have been hiding or concealing or guarding that you've been switching from thing to thing, you know, flipping from one project probably to another and not completing certain things. I think that the way that you work through this anger is just by spending time with family or friends. If you're not happy in the job, then probably it's time to leave. Finally, in terms of love, some of you guys are creating a new friendship. There may be some jealousy. Somebody may try to kind of manipulate the situation, perhaps. Also, some of you guys creating a new friendship here, but I feel that with the Five of Swords energy, some of you guys may doubt whether you can maintain this or juggle it at this moment in time. Let's have a look at the spiritual reading. And so what you need to focus on attracting in this week, Saggies, is the universe. The universe will show me the right path to take to reach my goal. Say that again. The universe will show me the right path to take my goal. Okay. Also spiritual, the angelic reading. So the angels are telling you today that you need to compromise. You probably need to compromise in the work area. It just feels like somebody's trying to tell you something for your own good. That's how it feels, and you may be sulking about it with that Four of Cups energy showing there. All right, so it might also be saying here that, you know, you don't like what somebody's telling you because they're saying, you know, fix yourself up, basically. You're flitting from this to this and you're not completing certain things, and you've been concealing it. I think if you are sulking about it with the Four of Cups energy, it's time as well with that Knight of Wands to move on. You know, you've got to let it go. So there may be a compromise needed, I think, in work, showing here. Finally, additional information on your general, your love and your career reading is this week. It's all about a proposal. Wow. Let's have a look at the book for this. And I thought I'd left the book out. Hang on. No, I've still left it in here. So let's have a look at this. So, Chinese Fortune Reading Cards by Sharina Starr. So, we're going to have a look at what the proposal is, showing here. Proposal 24. Let's have a look here. So, 24. 24. Okay, so, proposal. A romantic or business proposal, sizzling vibes for a romance is what's predicted via this book. So generally, this proposal card is telling you for this week also that promising times await for lovers and singles. The time is ripe for love or business commitment, so dress to impress everywhere you go, as true love or career success is close by. But we've definitely got you creating a new friendship with someone, relationship with someone, which I think is quite nice. For your career, if you've been thinking of changing career or in a dead-end job with no future, and that could be it as well. The Knight of Coins can be a dead-end job. I forgot all about that. I was trying to think. I knew that it meant that, but I couldn't think what it was. It can be a dead-end job, and it might be that this is quite frustrating, showing here as well with that Eight of Swords energy showing there. So if you've been thinking of changing career or in a dead-end job with no future, a proposal could land in your lap from out of the blue. Keep your eyes wide open to the outstanding opportunities that are about to come your way. Be assertive and bold. Luck surrounds you. Finally, relationships. Sensational time for commitments and strengthening in all relationships. Singles could fall madly in love with someone, and marriage proposals, wow, are more than likely if this is what you are hoping for. Although, if the person proposing is not the one, who sets your heart aflame. Don't rush into anything. It is likely the universe may send someone entirely different, so keep an open mind. Wow, incredible. All right, Saggies, that's your reading for the 27th of July through to the 2nd of August. I would like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. Have a great day. If you'd like to order a personal reading, click on the link in the comments section or the end screen. And also, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the video. That really would be great. Thank you, guys. I love you. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.